very hard for a woman to, want to be with someone that's with Amber Rose. So she wasn't sending nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to take 30 showers before I got with Kim, you know?
He likes that men are like drooling over his woman. That's what he's into.
Jack is like such a cool guy, man. He's like one of my great friends, and we actually just did a song together that's gonna be on the album.
And he is the king of queens, and I'd like to think I'm the queen.
The queen of queens, yeah.
And so I'm just so, well, he's a rap legend, so let's just say that. I have a lot of respect for him, and he's kind of cute too.
So, but have you had sleepovers yet, or is it?
Lock your seatbelts and hide your group chats, because today we're opening the most awkward shared calendar in hip-hop history. We're talking about rappers who dated the same women not once, not twice, but in timeline-bending, headline-breaking, group chat-destroying overlap stories that make soap operas look like kindergarten plays. This isn't romance. This is relationship musical chairs with platinum records in the background. You think rap beef is explosive? Try romantic crossover. With ego, fame, and Instagram receipts. This makes celebrity love triangles look like basic geometry homework. Somewhere right now, a group chat is being deleted. A screenshot is being cropped. And a "we were just friends" speech is being rehearsed in 4K. Because in the rap industry, relationships don't just end, they remix. One ex becomes another. Headline: one date becomes another disline. And suddenly, fans aren't tracking albums, they're tracking timelines like FBI. Interns with Espresso. We're diving into the wildest overlap stories, the reactions, the sneak disses, the memes, and the fallout. Names, drama, and domino effects. And trust me, by the end of this, your mental timeline is going to need a flowchart. The moment you start mapping hip-hop relationships, you realize something very important very quickly. This is not a dating pool. This is a dating relay race with designer sunglasses and platinum plaques. The overlap stories don't trickle out. They explode out like confetti cannons at a scandal parade. And every time fans think they understand the timeline, a new detail shows up wearing sunglasses and flips the calendar over. Let's establish the ground rules of rap world romance. Fame compresses time, multiplies attention, and turns private. Dating into public sport. Normal people date quietly. Rappers date under stadium lights with rumor helicopters overhead. So when two major artists end up linked to the same woman even at different times, the internet does not treat it like coincidence. It treats it like a cinematic crossover event with theme music, and the audience doesn't just watch, they investigate. Suddenly, fans become timeline auditors. Wait, when did they break up? When did he start following? Why did she like that post from 38 weeks ago at 2 a.m.? Social media turned everybody into a relationship detective with zero badge and unlimited confidence. The first reaction wave is always denial mixed with jokes. Nah, that can't be real. Followed immediately by 15 screenshots and a zoomed-in dinner photo from 6 months ago. The internet doesn't say. Maybe it says enhance. People will enhance a reflection in a spoon if necessary. CSI. Celebrity Dating Unit never sleeps. What makes these overlap stories hit harder in hip-hop is ego plus lyrics plus legacy. This is an industry where people turn feelings into bars and bars into history. So when romantic circles overlap, fans don't just expect awkwardness, they expect subliminal verses, suspicious captions, and interviews that sound normal but feel loaded. A simple line about trust suddenly gets replayed, like it's a coded message from a spy satellite. And let's be honest, sometimes the overlap isn't even scandalous in real life. Adults date, people move on. That's normal. But normal doesn't trend. Once fame is involved, ordinary dating turns into headline math. Two separate relationships become shared history. Sequential becomes suspicious. Timing becomes courtroom evidence presented by people with anime avatars. The sarcasm online gets ruthless fast. Memes pop up showing bracket charts like tournament, trees, relationship playoff brackets, round 1 boyfriend, round 2 rapper, finals pending. Savage, yes, viral. Extremely. The meme economy runs on romantic chaos like a generator. Another layer that turns the volume up is industry proximity. These artists aren't random strangers. They share studios, award shows, festivals, mutual friends, producers, stylists, and after parties with identical guest lists. The social circles overlap before the relationships ever do. So when dating overlap happens, it feels less like coincidence and more like cinematic irony. Then the fan bases arrive, and that's when calm leaves the building. Supporters treat relationship history like protected territory. They defend timelines like property lines. They argue dates, intentions, seriousness levels, and emoji meanings like legal teams. Nobody wants their favorite artist looking like the replacement chapter in somebody else's story. Commentary channels jump in with dramatic music and titles that sound like federal investigations. The truth about this dating timeline. Sir, this is not a Senate hearing, it's Instagram with filters, but the presentation sells. And the audience watches like it's a courtroom thriller. Pop culture comparisons start flying everywhere. People say these overlap stories have more plot twists than reality TV reunion episodes. Others say hip-hop dating circles are smaller than industry award show seating charts. One viral joke says the industry needs relationship jerseys with retired numbers, but underneath the jokes is a real reputational tension. Because image matters. Artists build brands around authenticity, loyalty, dominance, emotional depth. Romantic overlap stories can poke at those brand pillars if the narrative spins wrong. Suddenly, people question songs, old lyrics, old interviews. Everything gets reinterpreted with new suspicion glasses. The timeline deep dives get wilder from here. Old posts get resurfaced like archaeological artifacts. Birthday messages, vacation photos, deleted comments, all treated like historical evidence. Context shrinks. Drama grows. Nuance gets locked outside without a key, and just when you think the situation is fully mapped, a new name enters the chat and the entire board resets. Because hip-hop overlap stories rarely travel in straight lines, they zigzag like lightning with WI-V. And this is only the opening layer. Because once reactions, sneak disses, interview shade, and public clapbacks enter the picture, the overlap stops being gossip. Now this is where the overlap stories stop being quiet rumors and start becoming public sport. Because once fans suspect two rappers share the same romantic history, the internet doesn't observe, it performs. Reaction. Videos spawn. Old lyrics get subpoenaed. Interview clips get replayed like courtroom footage. And suddenly, a bar written 3 years ago is being treated like encrypted. Relationship data. The second wave is always escalation. First comes discovery. Then comes interpretation. Then comes exaggeration wearing designer shoes. Commentary channels roll in with dramatic voices and thumbnails that look like someone just uncovered ancient scrolls. Titles scream about hidden timelines, secret links, and what they don't want you to know, which is impressive because nobody asked them. To keep it secret, memes evolve into full cinematic universes. Not simple jokes, layered edits. Mock reality show intros. Fake dating charts with arrows and warning labels. Someone always makes a relationship flowchart that looks like a subway map designed by chaos. Lines crossing, arrows looping. Question. Marks everywhere. Accuracy questionable. Entertainment level maximum. Then come the lyric, detectives. This is where things get truly Olympic. Fans start combing through verses like archaeologists with headphones. Every line about trust, loyalty, heartbreak, or betrayal gets replayed like it was recorded specifically about that overlap situation. even if the song dropped 2 years earlier. Context takes a vacation. Coincidence gets fired. He said, "I can't trust nobody close to me." See? No, sir, that is also called songwriting. But logic doesn't trend, connections do. The more dramatic the interpretation, the faster it spreads. People don't share balanced takes. They share explosive ones with fire emo JIS, celebrity reactions. Or even non-reactions, pour gasoline on everything. A simple unfollow becomes breaking news. A neutral emoji becomes emotional Morse code. A laughing comment becomes subtle shade. Social media turned facial expressions into legal documents and silence into a press conference. And let's talk about the interview clips. Old podcast moments get pulled out like hidden camera footage. A laugh gets labeled nervous. A pause gets labeled guilt. A subject change gets labeled confirmation. Body language experts with zero certification suddenly appear everywhere. According to them, blinking twice means betrayal and scratching your nose means regret. Fan bases turn into digital armies at this stage. No helmets. No brakes. They defend their favorite artist's dignity like national borders. Arguments get personal. Comment sections turn into verbal wrestling rings. Nobody types, "I disagree." They type dissertations with emotional footnotes. What makes hip-hop overlap stories hit harder than regular celebrity overlap is competitive culture. This is a genre built on dominance, respect, pride, and lyrical warfare. So when romantic history intersects between artists, fans don't see coincidence, they see rivalry seasoning. Even when none exists, they marinate it anyway. Pop culture analogies go completely off the rails. People compare these dating overlaps to superhero crossover events, cinematic universes, multiverse timelines. Someone always says, "This storyline got more crossovers than comic books?" Overstated. Absolutely. Reposted 50,000 times. Also, absolutely another escalation layer appears. The inside source epidemic. Anonymous accounts claim exclusive knowledge. My cousin was there. My friend knows the stylist. The driver confirmed it. The internet has more unnamed insiders than a spy agency with a podcast. Screenshots start circulating with mysterious cropping. Half messages, out of context replies. Blurry timestamps. The digital version of torn notebook pages presented like federal evidence. Nobody asks for full context because full context ruins the drama pacing. Meanwhile, music itself gets dragged into the courtroom. Collabs become suspicious. Features become strategic. Release timing becomes calculated. If two artists drop songs near each other, somebody builds a theory that romance overlap caused release competition and planetary alignment. The sarcasm level across social media becomes lethal. Users joke that hip-hop needs a relationship trade deadline show. Others say the industry dating circle is smaller than a VIP section couch. One viral line says, "At this point, they should just start tagging each other like features." But under the jokes sits real reputational tension, because perception shapes narrative and narrative shapes brand. Artists work hard to project control, authenticity, and emotional authority. Overlap stories, even harmless ones, can distort that image if the crowd spins it the wrong way. And the crowd loves spinning. The most dangerous moment comes when speculation turns into assumed fact. That's when jokes become labels. Labels become identity. Identity becomes shorthand. Suddenly, an artist isn't known for music. They're known for a timeline rumor. That's the risk zone. And just when you think the chaos peaked, the aftermath phase walks in, where feelings, reputations, and future relationships all feel the echo. Now we enter the fallout zone, the part nobody plans for. Everybody talks. About and the internet absolutely refuses to handle calmly. Because once overlap stories between rappers and shared romantic links go fully public, the narrative doesn't just sit there, it mutates. It grows legs, picks up a microphone, and starts rewriting reputations in real time. Here's the uncomfortable truth wrapped in glitter. In celebrity culture, perception travels faster than facts and packs heavier luggage. It doesn't matter whether the timeline was clean, sequential, respectful, and drama-free. Once the overlap headline exists, nuance gets pushed out of the car at a red light. The story becomes simplified into something louder and messier because loud and messy spreads better. Artists suddenly find their music being reinterpreted through relationship gossip lenses. Old love songs get treated like confessionals. Old heartbreak bars get treated like courtroom testimony. Fans start saying, "Now that line makes sense," about lyrics written during a completely different emotional era. Retrospective storytelling is the internet's favorite magic trick. Reputation impact hits differently depending on the artist's brand. If someone built their image on loyalty and emotional depth, overlap rumors poke at that image like a finger testing glass. If someone built their persona on wild freedom and chaos energy, the same story barely scratches the paint. Brand identity acts like narrative armor, some thicker, some decorative. Relationships around the artists also feel the aftershocks. Friends get questioned, new partners get compared. Old partners get dragged back into trending topics like they were recalled. From retirement, nobody stays off stage once the story trends. Even people who never auditioned get credited with a role. Interview questions change too. Journalists and podcasters suddenly just want to ask one quick thing that is absolutely not quick, and definitely that thing. Artists trying to promote albums end up dodging dating timeline questions like laser beams in an action movie. Media gravity pulls to war drama every single time. Fan bases also go through emotional gymnastics. Stage 1 is denial. Stage 2 is defense. Stage 3 is counter-accusation. Stage 4 is why are we even talking about this? Posted under a 200-comment argument thread. Loyalty online is loud, proud, and occasionally allergic to context. The meme cycle evolves again in the aftermath phase. Early memes are jokes. Later memes become labels. That's when humor turns into identity, shorthand, and shorthand sticks. A single viral joke can follow an artist longer than a charting single. Comedy has incredible memory and zero mercy. Another consequence most people ignore is collaboration tension. Even when artists are professional adults, public overlap narratives make every future interaction feel loaded to fans. A studio photo becomes a theory. A handshake becomes a headline. A feature verse becomes proof of hidden tension according to people who believe coincidence is illegal. Public perception also loves turning coincidence into conspiracy. If two artists release music near the same time after an overlap rumor, it becomes competitive strategy. If they don't interact publicly, it becomes confirmed tension. If they do interact, it becomes fake peace. There is no winning against narrative gymnastics, only surviving them. The dating partners involved, often women in these stories, face the most unfair spotlight distortion. Instead of being treated like independent people with agency and choice, they get turned into storyline devices by gossip culture, reduced to connectors instead of individuals. That's where the sensational machine crosses into absurd territory, and it happens far too easily. And yet, despite all the noise, the truth that keeps surviving every overlap scandal is simple. Adults date, adults break up. Adults date other adults. The real world calls this normal. The internet calls it a cinematic crossover event with dramatic music and slow zoom. But here's the twist that keeps this topic permanently viral. Hip-hop is built on storytelling, ego, pride, and emotional expression. So even normal relationship Overlap becomes amplified because fans are trained to look for narrative tension. They expect plot. They expect rivalry. They expect subliminals. Sometimes they even manufacture them like a home project. The long-term consequence isn't usually career destruction. It's narrative coloring, a tint added to public image, a filter applied to perception. Not fatal, but sticky. These stories rarely end careers, but they often rewrite how audiences emotionally frame artists for a while. And just when the noise finally begins to fade, a new overlap story appears somewhere else, and the entire cycle reloads like a franchise. Sequel, nobody ordered but everybody watches. Because in the rap world, relationships don't just end. And there you have it, romance, rap reputations, and recycled timelines colliding like a freeway pileup with platinum soundtracks. These overlap stories prove one thing beyond all reasonable doubt in hip-hop. Relationships don't just happen. They trend, they mutate, and they come back with director's commentary. One dinner date becomes a theory thread. One old photo becomes a documentary. One coincidence becomes a conspiracy with background music. Now I'm handing the mic to you. I want your take in the comments, and I want it loud. Which overlap story shocked you most? Which one felt overhyped? Which one proves the rap dating circle is smaller than a backstage couch? Don't give me safe opinions. Safe opinions don't travel. Drop your boldest take and defend it like it's a diss track with footnotes. If this breakdown hit harder than a surprise name drop in a verse, smash that like button like it just leaked your group chat. Subscribe like you just found the control room where hip-hop drama gets decoded, dissected, and served hot. Turn on notifications so you don't show up late to the next timeline explosion, asking, wait, how are they connected? Share this with that friend who says I don't follow rap drama, but somehow knows every relationship rumor within 8 minutes. Yes, that undercover investigator with screenshots ready. Remember, in this culture, headlines fade, receipts expire, but stories keep getting retold louder every time. We don't just repeat the noise, we analyze the pattern. No sugarcoating, no favoritism, no soft takes. This is the rap truth, where the gossip gets filtered and the facts get amplified.